Wild Magic West is a show intended for mature audiences. Today's episode contains references to drug and alcohol abuse. Viewer discretion is advised.
We pull our focus to a large, rounded gulch, the top of which is dotted with smaller, ramshackle homes with clothing lines strung between them and streets crowded with people. And we follow it down along a river that opens up to a lake tucked underneath this cover where we see the more expensive side of living. The mansions carved into the stalagmites and the pinkish lights that twinkle as we watch roserite-powered golems clear from the pink glow in their chest stomp along the bridges and roads. Welcome to Emerald Gulch, the jewel of Erevan, the richest and largest city, the hub of this continent. It thrives off the mining and refinement of roserite, but even a jewel when pressured can crack. The deeper one digs, the less the sparkles and facets show. Beneath the polished walkways of the streets, there are dank and ruined mining tunnels, some that have been repurposed into slums and a place for the less fortunate to roam and make home. Down where the dust of abused roserite clings to the skin and lungs, leaving most of the folks in these spaces with a baseline level of corruption visible in the soft pale pink glow of their eyes. In the center of this city is a large polished pink tower, emboldened with deep veins running up it of red, almost as if it was carved from the mineral itself, the home of the Order of the Rose, where rumors still flit about the potentially deeply twisted experiments as they preach the gospel of roserite worship. More twisted still, the whispers of the Black Vein Cartel digging their heels back into the foundations of this home. No need for pulpits with them, but bullets laced with pink veins and roserite? Another story indeed. This city, these people, run on roserite, and like any good engine, it needs a healthy diet of fuel, uncaring if that fuel walks, breathes, or bleeds. And it is here in this town where we find our band of retired adventurers. Our lens first shifting its focus ever so slightly, following that river back out until the edge of the lights of the gulch are soft and fuzzy, almost like an out-of-focus flare of the setting sun. We see a ridge of red rocky stone just high enough that the glimmer of the roserite lamp hanging outside the canvas tent could be mistaken at quick glance for sunset, but also low enough to be out of sight quickly should trouble arise. A small fire crackling, throwing the shadow of the figure against the ground behind them. Afyra. What would we see sitting by this campfire?
At first glance, very easy to convince yourself that it's a wild animal, as she sits very hunched and her jacket, weathered after dozens of years of wear, kind of looks more like a pelt of some beast, dirty, mucked up, and certainly oversized. Until you see the hat on her, black, also weathered, and long braids and locks kind of interspersed in between each other, and a mask of Rorschach ink and eyes of bright purple, as she just tries to make food enough to get by. Whatever's in a can, whatever she can heat up fast, anything that happened to wander into a trap. That's pretty much what she's subsisting on.
Can I ask what your passive perception is?
Sure. It is 21.
Even though you're deeply lost in thought, tending your fire, making your food, even with all of that distracting you, you can very obviously notice the sound of footsteps crunching across the ridge, approaching behind you.
I think Afyra just straightens up. doesn't turn around, but there is a spectral hand lifting behind her that is making the shape of a finger gun. Uh, as she calls out, "All right, go on, show yourself."
Uh, Hands sort of above their waist in a postration of sorts. You see a young girl, um, maybe 12, 13, clad in a dusty traveler's cloak, and in one of her hands is an envelope.
Does the envelope look familiar to me?
She's sort of holding it with the seal facing her,
Mm.
so it looks like an envelope from this distance, unless you were to take it.
I stand and kind of examine her. She doesn't look to be hiding anything, as it seems, but I think I'd still keep my distance and go, "Shit, they're sending out kids now, huh? All right, you
Uh,
done your job." And I'm gonna send the gun, the finger gun, over to her and have it like attempt to take the letter.
she releases it freely, still not speaking, and as quickly as she appeared, she sort of sprints back off, scrambling down the rocks. As you flip this letter over in your hands, you see a familiar seal, one that you recognize and haven't seen in a very long time. Several long years, in fact. An elaborate J and B interlocking with a diamond around it.
I think she waits until she can't hear that girl scrambling off anymore, until she feels truly alone. Uh, and as she reads it, she'll just take a deep breath and probably pull up her mask just to hide whatever expression might come across her face as she reads whatever is on this page.
As you crack it open, it's a very short letter. Written inside, it just says, "We need to meet tonight, 8 p.m."
I toss it into the fire and then I break camp. I'll start kicking dirt onto the fire, packing up, getting ready to head out to wherever it is I need to meet.
Uh, our camera pulls back as the dust sort of kicks into the wind. We follow that dust back into the city to a desolate, semi abandoned ruin of a backyard. A little, sort of old, dilapidated house with an elderly goblin woman shaking out pieces of fabric and pinning them to a clothesline. The sound of chickens packing at cracked stone and squawking in a little penned enclosure nearby, with the clamoring of partially broken chimes rustling as the wind blows past, drawing our eyes to a dilapidated shack in the corner of this yard. Clay, what do we see as our camera pans into this room?
I think you see him preparing a fine meal, the finest of china laid before him, as he is making a wonderful, a delicious, even dinner, nice steak dinner, with his owl kind of floating around inside of his kind of loft of an apartment. And he is this black human male with a thick beard and curly hair, and I think at this point too is just walking around shirtless and has and is just around trying to cook and stuff like that. And you see that he has his entirety of his right arm is mechanical, and it looks rusted, and it looks like the maintenance hasn't been kept up with it the way it should be.
As you're sort of working in your little shack, uh, you hear something that you are not used to or accustomed to hearing. The soft knocking at your door.
I think in that moment he kind of snaps out of it, and then he is no longer in that place that he envisions, and I think then before him is a plate with some can of beans, maybe a couple little bacon bits, in this dirt floor, and everything is just dark, very not even candlelit, just very dark in there with little bits of light shining through the cracks in between the panels. And then Clay will go and get his gun out of his holster, out of a sack of just like empty like hay sack or like potato sacks that he uses as like bed and furnishing. And he pulls out this massive revolver with 3 barrels that that interlock, and it has chambers inside of it. He checks, makes sure the bullets are chambered, and goes, "Hey there, friend. What can I do for you?"
The only response is another soft knock at the door.
I think then he will slightly open up the door to peek through while having the gun pointed directly behind the door.
You see a young girl, about 12 years old, clad in a dusty traveler's cloak, just sort of holding an envelope between her hands.
Well, it's a bit early in the year to be selling cookies, isn't it?
There's
Did
the
she crack
hint
it?
of a smile, but she then just flips over the letter to pass it to you.
Almost got you. And then he just grabs the envelope and then just does like one little check and then just closes his door.
As you're closing it, you just see her sort of sprinting off back from wherever she came from. And flipping over this letter, you see a familiar seal that you recognize and haven't seen in a very long time. An elaborate J and B interlocking with a diamond around it.
All right. He would normally have a hidden blade that would come out of his arm that he would use for the most menial of tasks. And as he tries to kind of flick his wrist, the compartment that's supposed to open up starts to jam. He's like, "Some bitch." All right. And then he just casually opens up the letter as normal.
It's short. To us above table, a now familiar thing is written inside. It just says, "We need to meet tonight, 8 p.m.
And I had so much planned this evening, as he goes to put on his shirt and grab his jacket.
As you're putting on your shirt and jacket, our camera sort of pulls out of this beat up shack with its potato sacks, and we shift our lens again to a dark, deep tunnel in which is a series of homes that have been built and buried into the rocky outcropping of this abandoned mining tunnel, the industrial guts of Emerald Gulch. We can see children of various species running about and adults with slightly pink glowing eyes. The almost hallway-like nature of this space is lit by candles, not roserite, which is rare for this city. And as our view shifts into one of the more beaten and run-down doorways, 6, what do we find inside?
So, since we last seen 6, it's been a few years. Things haven't really changed for his situation. So, we do see a relatively empty cache of roserite. We do see him and his homunculus. We see him working on certain types of magical items, but one of the main things that's different is that there is a separate small little chest that seems to have unrefined roserite inside. and throughout work on his items, he looks over and he reaches for it, but holds himself back, knowing the dangers that can happen if he takes some. But he's feeling weak. So he puts his tools back onto the table and begins to walk around his shop.
As you're walking around your shop, a sound sort of alerts your attention immediately to your door. The soft tapping of a knock.
All right, perfect timing. I'm gonna go to the door.
As you open it, you see a young girl, about 12 years old, in a dusty traveler's cloak. She is holding a small envelope and a little box.
These for me?
There's a curt nod. She passes them to you, and the second they leave her hands, she sprints back down this mining tunnel. Which do you open first?
All right. First, I'm going to take a look and see if I see anything outside, because this is extremely strange.
Give me a perception check if you'd like to.
Ooh, 19 on the die. That is a 24.
Nothing out of the ordinary. You've been living down in one of these old beat-up houses that have been built into these old tunnels for a while now. Just the regular children. The unsettling thing that you're used to, but the average person isn't, are those soft glowing eyes of everyone around, who just have this low level of corruption about them.
All right, well, I seeing nothing out of the ordinary. I just look back down. Is the envelope addressed to me?
It is not, but there is a familiar seal on it, an elaborate interlocking J and B with a diamond around it.
Got it. All right. Well, I'm going to go inside, closing the door behind me. Pliers, you mind taking this over to the workbench? And I'm going to hand the box over and open up the envelope.
It's a very small box, almost ring size, and you watch as Pliers just sort of takes it out of your hands and brings it over your workbench. And as you open this letter, it says a slightly longer message than our previous players have received. We need to meet tonight, 8 p.m. In parentheses, I've included a snack. I thought you needed it.
Pliers, bring it back.
Pliers brings the small ring box back over to you.
I'm slowly going to open it.
As you do, there is a dull pink glow that comes out of this box as you see a very highly refined piece of roserite, about the size of a thumb, like a thumbnail.
Whew. All right. Well, this will keep me going for a while. All right. I bring it on back to the workbench and I start crushing it into smaller pieces so I can put it into one of my cigars. And I will light it and smoke it.
As the smoke starts to sort of dissipate upwards, looking backwards at 6, we can see the relaxation sort of settle in a little bit more. And our camera pulls back and pushes into the heart of Emerald Gulch's pleasure district, nestled between an old bank that has been converted into a nightclub and a half-legitimate apothecary. The lower level has a golden neon sign that flickers the words, "The Gilded Stag," but our eyes are drawn upwards to an elaborate diamond, flickering in pink roserite lighting, hanging above a set of spiral stairs. From the outside, at this vantage point, it glitters. Warm light spilling from the windows and music, soft, wafts into the street, almost on a bed of perfume hanging on the wind. As we pass inside the doors, it's shadows and velvets, silks and bodies, practiced laughter, the sounds of flesh and metal, beaded curtains. But as we head down the hall to a closed door, we see in the center of it, almost like a peephole, a pure diamond. And as we pass through this peephole, Delilah, what would we see?
Standing by the window, looking out into the streets, you would see a towering furbolg woman. Her fur, a soft petal pink that has dappling. It's a little bit darker across her cheeks and her nose, like freckles, as well as seen beneath the lace and plush velvets that she wears over her body. She fidgets with a fan in her hand, and unlike other times when she's anticipating a welcome visitor, a paying visitor, she stands nervously and then takes a few paces around the room, adjusts little trinkets, fluffs a pillow, goes back and glances out the window once more.
As you glance out the window, you're used to seeing things that are familiar to you in this space. It's a place you've looked out many times before, and you're sort of zoned in looking out. What is your passive perception?
Passive is 14.
You almost miss it for a split second, and then it repeats itself. A soft knocking at your door.
She snaps her fan closed and sets it on the table that's between two couches in this lounging area of hers as she goes to the door and opens it, kind of peeking through it first.
As you peek through, you see something that is wholly out of place in a brothel. A small child, about 12 years old, in a dusty traveler's cloak.
Sorry, honey, you're a little bit young. However, I've got some other fine folks, the lady, that we can have take care of you, but if you're looking for work, I'm sorry, I just don't have anyone for someone of your age.
She cocks her head, and there's a small sly grin that opens up. And she looks up at you from her very small height. I apologize. I've been sent with a message.
All right. Well, hand it over.
I'm supposed to deliver it privately. May I come in?
She looks around down the hall. Who let you in here? Which one was it? Was it Garnet? It's always Garnet.
The door, there wasn't anyone at the front stand.
There wasn't.
I promise I'll be quick. I'll keep my hands out of my pockets if that makes you feel safer.
Safer. Can I, glancing over her, do I notice anything else about this small child if she's saying safer with her hands?
Give me insider perception, whichever you choose. Just let me know which one you choose.
Oh, I'm going insight, baby. Okay, that is a 15.
You notice sort of at her throat, the clasp of her cloak looks like a small rose.
Does that mean anything to me? Or that's all I recognize?
I mean, roses have been ingrained in the culture based purely on this mineral, but that specific style of rose, you've seen it in places in town before, specifically above the church for the Order of the Rose.
Ah. All right, come on in. And she peers down at her, opens the door, and lets her in.
She comes inside and waits for the door to close. And the second it does, she looks up at you. And there's like a shifting that happens where her eyes look older than her ears. And she looks up at you and very curtly and shortly says, "The angel investor would like a meeting. He's arranged for your friends to be with you. He'll be here at 8 p.m.
My friends. You
And
mean
then
one of the girls?
without skipping a beat, she flings herself through the open window. And as she does so, you watch as crystalline roserite wings sprout from her back, and she flies off in the direction of the large tower in the center of town.
Oh, shit. She takes a look. She takes a look and watches as she flies up and off. My friends. She's thinking surely none of the girls, and then she's starting to think a little bit more about when she first came into gaining her angel investor, gaining her proprietorship of the jewelry box, and has this sinking feeling, like her ears that were kind of twitching at this, kind of lower, kind of pressed down against the side of her head as just worry just washes over her, that kind of then flitters up into a bit of panic. Okay.
Is there anything you do to prepare for what awaits you at 8 p.m. this evening?
She thinks that a lot of booze is going to be required, so she makes her way down to the stag, pulls a couple of favors, and starts to try and remember who likes what. And so I think she does a little bit of that. And I think she's also going to try and figure out, I think she's primarily thinking through in overthinking mode, which is kind of not something that she displays very often. Kind of what to do depending on who arrives first, right? Her mind is who may shoot first is a lot of her mindset.
As the evening passes, who would be the first to arrive at the jewelry box?
I think Clay would not be the first to arrive, but he would scope the place out first. Like he would wait. He would purposely arrive last for stylistic reasons, but he is there first to scout with his owl to make sure he's not being set up for a trap.
So you got there early and are sort of holed up nearby?
Yeah, about an hour early. He's just standing there in a dark alley, having a smoke, and then has his owl. He's just warging through his owl, just watching over, just to be sure.
Okay. Give me sleight of hand to see how well you're able to sort of tuck into a corner and not be seen.
Sleight of hand, or what about a stealth?
Oh, stealth. Sorry, that's the word. Give me stealth.
Okay.
My apologies.
Not great. That's gonna be a dirty 20.
Nice. And we will keep that in mind as people arrive. Who would be the first to arrive?
I know Six is interested in the prospect of getting some fuel for himself and his little buddies, so he would definitely be there on time, if not probably around 10 minutes early. But he would be not really scoping the place out, mostly just looking for whoever they're going to be meeting with. And
As you approach, you see that flickering pink diamond up on the sign, and it throws your mind back to that letter you received earlier in the day. Clay, you would see 6 arriving through your owl.
Yeah, the owl would be like perched on top of like an adjacent like building. It would just be, you just see the owl go. Just surprised to see it. It would start doing a 360 on its head, like what?
Did you have the owl during your previous adventures with the crew?
I think so.
I don't think it came out during the job,
didn't
but
camp-
in your
yeah.
when you were in your home, you described the owl being.
Yeah,
there.
when we got to the end of.
Is it safe to say that on previous adventures you might have seen the owl might have been seen before?
I think they would have spotted them prior.
6, if you'd like to, you can give me a history check to see if you recognize that owl.
15.
It takes you a second, and it's almost distracting. You're not used to seeing owls in the city. Not this far into the cavern at this time of night, or near the neon lights. Something about it just sort of tickles the back of your brain, and it takes you a second to place it until Clay's mind sort of comes up again.
Oh shit. I'll just look back up at it and fuck. All right. I'll just walk away and then go to like just out of sight of the owl and post up on the side.
It's an owl with a little black cowboy hat. His name's Val.
Oh, rip.
Afyra, I'm assuming you're the last of this crew to arrive.
Legitimately only because I arrived on time and everyone else showed up so early.
Are you scoping out
scoping
out the places you approach?
Absolutely, I am.
Give
I'm a
me
bounty hunter who knows what it's like to be wanted, so I'm keeping all ears and eyes out.
Give me perception as you approach. Also, 6, did you tuck away to sort of hide, or did you tuck away to just get your
Not
get your
really.
bearings?
That. Yeah. Out of the sight of the owl. I'm not trying to hide. I'm just like, I don't want this motherfucker looking at me.
I got a 30.
Yeah, that's pretty good, I guess.
You, as you approach, you walk up, and you first see 6 sort of leaning on the far side of the building, very clearly looking a little lost in thought and overwhelmed. Then you clock the bird on top of the diamond sign, and then without skipping a beat, immediately cold clock Clay in the aisle, smoking a cigarette, trying to look cool, leaning against the side of a building.
I think I say nothing to anyone and walk straight into the jewel box to go look for Delilah. I don't stop if either of them try to say anything. I'm going to walk all the way into the jewel box.
Which 6 would if he. So one of the things that you see him like practicing talking, like you don't hear what he's saying, but you just hear he's kind of mumbling. He's like, haven't seen you in a long time, blah, blah, blah. And then he'll see you walking, and he'll be even more fucking dumbfounded and just kind of stare at you walking in.
As I pass you, I just hit your chest twice, like, come on, you bag of bolts, to get you to come with me, because you're gonna get stuck in this loop of overthinking and talking to yourself.
All right. Yep. Yeah.
Delilah, did you warn the lady on desk this evening, who happens to actually not be a lady? It's Amethyst, who is one of your mask-presenting Jules.
Mm-hmm.
Did you let Amethyst know that you were expecting company?
Absolutely.
As Afyra and Six enter, you see a very attractive-looking humanoid male, slicked back hair, no shirt, gorgeous purple, like bejeweled pants, and then at his throat, like a choker collar with a little chunk of pure amethyst, just at the neck. And he looks up at each of you, clocks you, makes 2 tiny checks on his clipboard, and then makes eye contact and goes, Delilah's in the back. She's expecting you.
I lift my hat and keep walking.
Feels like crap. And just follow along.
And I am assuming fashionably late, even though they know you're here?
Yeah, we're looking at about 8:05. Okay, because what's happening, let me break it down like a fraction for you. It's about 7:46, right? He starts casting Phantom Steed, ritually, of course, so he can summon his massive black steed that he will ride in down the street. But then not only that, we're not done. He's gonna cast Mage Armor on himself, just in case. It's not that he doesn't trust them, but he doesn't. Well then, at 8:03, start to
I
go
need
down.
you to explain to me how you ride a spectral steed
Yeah.
up a set of spiral stairs to enter the jewel box.
Well, I'm so glad you asked.
I just need you to explain that to me.
Well, he's based off of a world famous show pony by the name of Toby. That's the name of the horse, and so he's just mimicking the agileness of that show pony. I am willing to give a roll if I need to.
I'm gonna need you to give me a roll. We're gonna say dex, straight dex. Mm-hmm.
Sure, yeah, okay. 15.
It takes you probably longer than you're expecting it to,
Yeah.
but you are able to ride this horse up a spiral staircase and into the entryway. And as it dissipates underneath you, you realize that none of the people in your party are in this entryway. The only person there is a very attractive looking masked man at a desk with a hunk of amethyst on a collar around his throat, shirtless in a pair of purple pants, who immediately looks up, makes a check on his clipboard, and goes, "You're the last. Delilah's in the back. She's waiting for you."
Appreciate you, friend.
And as they enter your formal chambers, Delilah, what do they all see?
Delilah has done as much as she can to seem cool, calm, and collected within this. And as soon as the door opens and she sees Afyra, she would walk over and just go, "Thank you for coming," and reach out for Afyra's hands. And if she'll allow it, just the cheek kiss like the two of them have done before. Just trying to, in her mind, she's got at least one here. And then sees Six. It's like, "Ah, you made it. It's good to see you. You're looking well."
I'm doing all right.
And
Hanging in there.
Good. And she's looking around, peering around, probably 5 minutes too early at this moment. But is peering around. We're waiting on someone else. But you two come on in. I've got to explain something.
Somebody oughta.
Yeah.
Before we go any further, there's a there's a thing about payment and Rose Rat. I'm assuming this is a job.
That's part of the explaining that I think that needs to happen. You know what? And if he's just not going to show up, then fine. And she closes the door. And then she.
It's almost the second you close the door is when you hear the clopping dissipate in the entryway.
Oh. I was beginning to think that you weren't going to come in.
What? Oh, I wouldn't miss this for the world. Of course not. Delilah?
Clay.
He goes and to take your hand, gives it a smooch.
It's delightful to see you. Let's get inside here real quick. And kind of does that, looks both ways this time as she closes the door. So, I know that you guys may be thinking that this is probably a trap. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure if it is or isn't. So if it's a trap, it's not one laid by me, but I have some explaining to do.
Well, it's like we never missed a beat.
Can I get y'all something to drink? And she uses her ring to cast telekinesis to pull over the first bottle that she had laid out on one of the tables, and picks up a glass and starts getting it poured in there next to her. For who would have, like, I guess, like, what was everyone's drinks? What would the drinks folks have had?
6 wouldn't drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just whiskey.
Whiskey.
Yeah, just the whiskey starts pouring, and then as soon as it's done pouring, it tilts back up, and she physically hands the glass over to Afyra. And Clay, can I interest you in anything?
Yeah, I'll take an old fashioned.
Okay, so whiskey. And she just pours it into the glass as well and hands it over. I don't have any of that stuff. That's what they do downstairs. And then she has a glass poured for herself and shoots it incredibly quickly.
You said something about explaining?
Yep, I'm getting to that. And she looks at the glass, it's empty, sets it down. Have a seat.
I'd rather stand if that's okay.
Okay, suit yourself. And she moves over to a big chair. Like, it's a massive chair in order to fit her form, and sits there, crosses her legs, leans back into it, and gestures for anybody else to sit if they want to.
Clay sits down.
Delilah, please say something.
I'm saying a lot of words. It's okay. So, welcome to the jewelry box. I have been the proprietoress of it for, approximately, in fact, since the night we last all spoke.
Yeah, we're well aware.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Well, I don't see you visiting, so I wasn't sure if, you knew or not. Ouch indeed. So I had a bit of an investor who was an angel investor in the establishment, knowing that I was a little short on it, and it seems that they have taken it upon themselves to call this meeting.
To what end?
Your angel investor called us about a thing that y'all did.
Apparently.
Before we get started, who is this angel investor? We're not going to have the same thing happen that very first time that we got together. We need to make sure that we have all the information before we get started.
She sighs real heavy. Well, all the information I have is that I suspect, potentially, maybe given that the small child who told me that this was going to be happening here tonight at 8, and then flew out of my window up towards the chapel, it may have to deal with the order.
So yours had superpowers and ours were just creepy?
I
Okay.
mean, yeah, I don't know what they do up there. It's I not my deity, if you understand.
Alright.
Okay.
So, since we're all here, I'm sure it's just gonna be just fine, right? We're just gonna play it cool. We're gonna get all the information, gestures at 6, right? You know, this will be the moment where all the information's happening, so that then I can't be accused of withholding any in the future. She grins and has the glass pouring more whiskey into her cup next to her.
Listen, past things. Like I said before, we're talking about payment, rose rat, refined rose rat. Is that part of this deal?
Well, with the Order of the Rose, I can't imagine that they deal in much else.
Alright.
It is about this
Yeah.
time that you notice the chandelier in your room, one that emits a pinkish roserite glow, flickers ever so slightly. The jewelry box is not a place made for silence, but pure quiet is what happens when a particular person crosses the threshold of this space. Not making eye contact with Amethyst, and almost feels, and you guys can feel it back in your room, like the air is being sucked from this place. The laughter, the noises, cut off mid-note. The roserite lights dim, making the shadows in this room grow almost darker. The figure walking down this hallway is impossible to ignore. Regal, inhuman, almost giving an air of demanding reverence. His skin is dark and smooth, laced with glowing roserite veins that almost appear to pulse. His body's thin, but not in a fragile way. It's gaunt, timeless. White, dreadlocked hair that sort of cascades around a face that almost looks more carved than born. It's sharp and precise, but the most striking thing about him are his eyes that are pale and almost crystalline. This man glides into your doorway, opening it like he owns it. And
My hand
closes it
immediately
probably
turns
behind
into
him.
My hand immediately turns into a hand cannon. Not pointing, just readying. And looking over. Do I know this person?
I would say give me history at disadvantage.
Okay.
Anyone else who'd like to is welcome
16?
to.
And
Also a
6.
disadvantage?
Also at disadvantage.
So
Disadvantage for me too.
Yup.
Okay.
Got an 18.
That's a good one. And that's a bad one.
9.
That's a 2 for me.
What about you, 6?
I got a 15.
6, you've heard whispers about people of the church, names that have flitted about, and you've seen this man in passing, but you never learned his name. Afyra. This man looks very similar to a person you are emotionally attached to once described doing business with. You
Okay.
did not meet them, but the description seems to match what you'd been told in the past.
Okay. Immediately I make sure my mask is up and my hand is hovering right above my lasso's holster. But I'm not pointing anything either.
His sort of hands are sort of folded behind his back, just sort of keeping his posture tight. And he just looks at each of you like he's reading a book. And there is an extended pause before he speaks. My name... Manners, Mr. Deepwater.
Oh, excuse me. Air's a bit dry in here. Go ahead. You were talking. My bad.
Perhaps if you ate something more sustaining than just beans, you wouldn't have such a dry throat.
I like that.
We're gonna get along very well.
I doubt that, but you're useful, which is why you're here. My name is Lord Soren Veilheart. And I've called you all in, here specifically, to collect. Each of you needs something the church can provide. I'm sure Miss Pardon would like full ownership of her establishment. I believe a certain Miss Cross is wanted so deeply dead by the cartel. A particular warforged is starving into ruin. And you, Mr. Deepwater, can't rub two coins together. Things I'm all more than willing to remedy, should you be willing to assist me in a particular task.
How much?
How much roserite do you want? Or how much am I offering?
How much are you offering? We'll start with that.
Let me be as specific as I can. Succeed in the task that I beset you. The jewel box will be yours. Your records will be expunged. Money that you will never need to question again, an amount untold, and you will not want for roserite for the rest of your existence. Fail. Well, let's not fail.
It seems too good to be true. That, or this is fucking dangerous.
He reaches his hand into a pocket and pulls out a chunk of roserite larger than you've ever seen outside of black market dealings. I was gonna ask.
That's a 5 on that wisdom save, and I think everybody just sees his arm cannon changes back to his hand, and you can see his left hand like reaching out, just goes back, but it just slightly, he lurches forward a little bit. And then he tries to play it off. All right.
Token of proof of faith. And he'll like extend this chunk, and it's like a solid rock of roserite, and just holds it out to you. In good faith.
Can I do an insight to just gauge? I mean, he's saying in good faith, but I just want to I want to understand if this is like I need you, or this is actually like in good faith.
Yeah. Give me an insight check.
Also, GM.
16.
Yes, dear.
May I make an Arcana check? Because I want to see how strong he is.
Oh, absolutely.
16 on the insight.
Do you touch the crystal in his hand?
Not yet.
Oh,
This is like
Yeah.
as I'm approaching, I want to see
Yeah.
what this looks like.
You get the vibe that he is offering this to you, this chunk with no strings attached, but he very clearly needs something to be done. Like, he's being reasonably honest.
This is a deposit.
This is a deposit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a
Alright.
27 on my Arcana check. I rolled an 18 on the die, and I have a +9.
I'm sending you a DM.
Ooh, nice. So then, and this is refined, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Six walks up and takes it, and just looks at it. Well, I'm
Understood?
gonna die if I don't do this. So I'm in. And he puts it in his bag.
Delilah glances to Afyra through all of this, knowing that Afyra has always been better at clocking things of the two of them, and is trying to get a read essentially on, okay, how do we play this? Like,
Yes. Afyra has been watching very intently, and they seem to have most people pegged for what they want, but offering Afyra to expunge her record is not nearly the thing that she wants the most. So she's just kind of been looking back and forth at Six and this newcomer and at Clay. And when she makes eye contact with Delilah, the Rorschach mask kind of bleeds out into like a Blanche state, as she kind of looks at this person to get the clearest read that she can on them.
How well are you hiding? Is Afyra hiding that?
The Blanche of the mask?
That everyone else seemed to be offered something directly that they wanted, and that it was like not quite enough. Like how well is that being hidden?
She's mostly masked up. She didn't flinch, or her eyes didn't start to smile or anything as that was offered. So she's been pretty poker faced to the best of her ability.
Can you give me persuasion or deception? I'll let you choose.
Sure.
And let me know if it beats a 26.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Probably. Yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna do
Easy, right?
I'm gonna do persuasion. So it didn't beat a 26, but I got a 19 on the die, and I have a +7 to persuasion.
oh my
So it's 8. It's exactly.
Meets it beats it?
Meets it beats it. There's a moment before you clock eyes with Delilah where your eyes lock with Soren's. And it's almost like a rock meeting a movable wall sort of situation, where the two of you are trying to read each other and not getting a firm grasp. And then, very softly, in the back of Afyra's mind, without his lips moving, you hear a voice very similar to the one that's been speaking out loud to you, that says a few very short words. I know where he is.
I'm in. And I don't look at Delilah as I say that. I keep eye contact with Soren, and I'm in.
Hearing that and seeing the others, Delilah kind of lets her eyes linger on Afyra just a moment longer, but if she's not getting that eye contact back, she's like, well, who am I to say no to an angel, right?
There's a laugh that sort of comes out of his throat. Details, I presume. You'd like them.
Oh, yeah.
An experiment of mine has slipped its cage. It must be returned. Quietly. Intact. Alive. I'm assuming between the four of you, you're more than capable of collecting a project.
What kind of experiment could the church be working on?
I'm afraid that's highly classified.
Oh, we're gonna be picking it up, aren't we?
Oh, you'll know Romeo when you see it.
Romeo? It's a person?
That is its code name. she responds to Romeo.
Vulnerabilities?
Not many.
Favorite candy?
Doesn't like it.
How did you lose her?
She was left unattended and slipped the bars. She's clever and learning, which is not something I anticipated. A mistake I will not be making again.
And
The last I heard
Go
of her,
ahead.
she was making for the mines. And
mm,
with my station, I cannot be seen down there.
Ah,
Yeah,
that's
we
what
wouldn't
it
want to
is.
get your nice locks all dirtied up, would we?
Oh yeah, I was wondering about that because, I mean, a guy as strong and strapping as him, you'd think he would have the skill set to be able to retrieve his little pet project himself. But it's politics, not power, getting in the way. Okay.
However, if you're aware of Romeo's capabilities, surely you have some sort of boons or something that you could give us in order to assist us in this, given that you know them best.
Surely.
He narrows his eyes at you. Give me persuasion at disadvantage.
Ooh. Anything I can do to help myself on that? Probably not. That is gonna be a 9 plus 6, 15.
There's the hint of a grin, and he just looks at you. You've had an incredibly long time to acquire trinkets and things. You're all very resourceful people. Consider this. Return Romeo to me, alive, quietly, and I will grant each of you a boon if that is what you wish. I've already fed your friend. Consider that boon enough as a deposit.
Point me in the right direction.
Well, I am in.
All right.
is there gonna be any adverse effects if we find this thing in the center of a giant roserite vein and using that ore to do God knows what? Is there going to be something that we need to be prepared for?
Oh, almost certainly. She's been missing for over a week, and as I've said, she's learning.
There. Yep. You don't expect us to...
I expect you to return my project.
All right. All right, then.
Excellent. Send a letter or a message if you can, and I will meet you here to collect. I wouldn't want it dropped off at the church's doors. Sends the wrong message.
I'm saying... You've been saying it. Is this a person or is this one of me? Or neither?
There's a long pause again. It's just Romeo.
Cryptic as ever.
It's been a long time since I had an experiment go AWOL. The last one I had to send off to be disposed. It's a waste of resources. I'd prefer to not do it again.
Well, that brings up a good question. If we're on our last limb, and and we're gonna. It's either her or us, or it, or us. Which would you prefer?
Oh, Romeo, obviously.
Yeah.
I'll find another band of adventurers if I must. Romeo is irreplaceable.
Yep. And she's gonna take out a cigar and just light it. And
Well,
go,
this ought to be fun.
again, direction, please.
The last I heard, it had broken for the mines. I don't know anything more than that. Maybe that's the best place to start looking.
Cool.
All right.
And he'll lock eyes with you, Afyra, specifically. Survive if you want the information. Otherwise, I'll keep it to myself. Double-cross me. I'll make sure I pass your information off to him.
I take my mask down, and I'm grinning so wide right now. I am so happy. Someone can lead me to my target. I just smile at him and I go, I ain't moved yet. Give him the address. Tell him come see me.
And a physical description of Romeo, perhaps?
You'll know it when you see it. And there's a burst of sort of pinkish red smoke as this man disappears in front of you.
Fucking
I'm a
hate
fuck-
taking jobs from people like him.
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking kill that guy. All right, come on, everybody.
You know, for
Okay.
once, you and I agree on something.
Exactly. And then he, Clay will go over and grab more glasses and more bottles of whiskey. Come on, everybody. And he starts sliding out glasses. Sit. Everyone.
Afyra's gonna stand.
Really? Really? I'm trying to extend an olive branch. All right?
Here, y'all know I don't drink, and then he's gonna take some roserite, crush it, put it into a cigar, put it in the pile.
I'll even try it one better. Delilah brings over a pitcher of water, pours it into a cup that's there, and is like, I don't know, does it dissolve? I mean, they have drinks that are rimmed with it up at the Beehive.
It does
Probably.
doesn't dissolve as you like rim the glass, almost like it's a margarita glass.
Mhm.
Well,
It's worth a try.
it smokes. That's all that matters.
There we go.
All right. So the
So-
mine.
The mine. But I think more pressingly, we need a little group therapy.
So you've decided you're okay with you and me hand-to-hand combat till one of us passes out, squashes our old beef.
I
Oh, I
got
mean,
all
if
my
that's what you
roserite on Afyra.
If that's what you want, we can do that.
That's going to have to happen outside. We can't have that happen in here.
Now-
I would prefer us to try other avenues first.
The first proposal I had was a little game we used to play growing up in the marshes. It happened anytime family had a disagreement. They'd sit down, have a drink, and play this game.
All
What's the game? What is it?
All right, don't mind the name, but it's an old game called Fuck You But. Now, you start off, you take a shot, and you tell somebody, fuck you for insert thing you're mad at them about, but insert a compliment. Right? So you could say something like, let me start. Takes a shot. Fuck you, Six, for pulling a gun out on me, but I like the way you dress. Who wants to go next?
All right, well, I think it's only fair I go. He lights the cigar. Clay, fuck you for being a smug piece of shit. But you've earned the right to be smug because you're pretty fucking good at what you do.
Delilah pours herself, or takes a look at the whiskey, shoots it back. 6. Fuck you for always being on my case about every little bullet point and detail on every little thing that we had. But I know you do it because you care. And that matters more than most in a cadre like us. That felt good.
Afyra takes the entire bottle of whiskey and just knocks it back, just starts chugging it and sets it down. He goes, all right, hey, Mr. Deepwater, fuck you. Mostly because you're the worst kind of poor. The kind where you think that means principle outweighs money, so you spit on the money. That's insane. I would have crawled through 8 miles of shit and sewer to get to that bag of money. And you, who are eating the same thing as me every night, can't help but, and she like glugs some more and sets it down, can't help but showboat and complain and whine when you've done nothing but your job when we thinking about it. But I like the little hat that your owl wears.
Val,
It is a pretty cute hat.
Val flies down at the window. He was still outside, turned to watch guard, and he just.
He's pretty great. I like that.
I tip my hat to
Probably the
Val
best-
immediately.
Best member of the team.
Fair enough.
I believe they call it a mascot in other parts of the Gulch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Everyone feeling a little bit better now.
That was supposed to make us feel better?
Well, I think it's better to get everything out in the air about how we're feeling before we go on a mission where a much, much more powerful spellcaster than even myself doesn't want to go on.
Let's just get this
Afyra.
over with. Yeah?
Fuck you for leaving. Yeah, you came in every once in a while. But I feel like I needed you. And you weren't there. But we have such a long history together. I know you didn't mean anything by it. But I know you got your demons. Things that you're running from. And I'm glad to see you right now. But
Afyra is going to stand up and go to stand in front of 6. She looks down at you and says, 6, fuck you for being the best friend I ever had and doing literally nothing wrong, so that no matter what I do, I, by default, end up being the asshole. It's my favorite thing about you. After some stuff happened, it wasn't easy to see anybody who knew that part about me. And you kind of know all the parts about me, so I figured if I kind of disappeared, you'd figure out which of those parts was working together to push me away. But maybe that wasn't fair to you. And I'm not sorry, because you're fine. But
It got dicey there.
yeah, well, I trust in your resilience. The model number on you is incredible.
I am really glad to see you.
I'm glad to see you too, buddy. I'll down the rest of that bottle. Shit.
By all means, because we're going to be up for a while trying to figure out a plan.
Why do we need a plan?
We're going to need a plan.
We should probably have some sort of insight as to what they do up there within the Order of the Rose. Anybody heard
Yeah, what
anything?
the fuck was that about?
I
Why wasn't he
know.
telling us everything
That's
about this
what I'm
thing?
trying
Like, he
to
wants us to be
say.
successful, and he's just going to be keeping shit away from us? Like, what the fuck does that...
I feel like y'all are concentrating on the wrong part. The
No,
people
no,
paying
no.
us, we don't really need to look into that. We should probably be looking into how to get paid, which is
What?
catching the it.
Yeah, but whatever it is a project that they've been working on. And if they're messing with roserite, anything, some sort of, I don't know, and she looks to Six, alternative infusion of something, then I don't know. Maybe I can see if my girls have had anybody from the Order come through here
It
talking
is
about it, because
not our
they'll talk in the
business.
sheets.
It's not something they're gonna like you poking your nose into.
Well, if
Yes.
they've been yapping about it in my building, then maybe they shouldn't have been doing it. But it's regardless, more information's better than no information going up against something where,
We're not going up against it. We're just catching something and bringing it back.
and how often
Oh.
do things like being caught?
Yeah,
don't
shit's
know.
going to go down.
I could ask it real nice.
Well, not only that, but I can do some investigation before we leave out on mining paths and try to get some maps or schematics or something like that.
Oh, Mr. Deepwater. I put down the map of the mines.
All right.
Oh.
That's step one done. But we do still need to figure out more information about who we're dealing with. Because I got the sneaking suspicion, based on my dealings with people like him, is that this ends one of two ways if we're actually able to secure the package that he wants. And that's either he plans on giving us what we want, because to him, it's just another zero on a spreadsheet, or we're going to get double crossed at the drop off.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's
he-
exactly what I was thinking.
Because this is his
It's just-
illegal project in the place that he is politically not supposed to be at, and we would be the last piece of evidence of said
And-
illegal conduct.
We'll have everything that we need for the rest of our lives. That's fucking bullshit, even I can
Yeah.
tell. I'm glad I got all this, though, and I pat the pack that I have.
How long's
That'll
that
keep me
gonna
going
last
for a
you
few
anyway?
months.
Months?
Probably a few months. Yeah, not too bad.
All right.
Pretty good for a down payment.
I think I can beat him in a fight.
Yeah.
I think we can beat him in a fight.
Yeah, it would have to be together.
Of course.
Look.
I'm a
Drink
lover,
more.
not a fighter anyway.
So you want a plan to go grab something that's in the mines?
Well, since you are so gung-ho, we can
Yeah.
just march right in there blind and just see what happens.
Great.
I'm sure nothing will go wrong.
She stands up and starts getting ready. Clay's been like,
Afyra.
What?
Afyra, we need a little bit more than just walk up and do the thing.
plans don't work. We know that.
Yeah, but at least we'll have alternatives to when shit hits the fan.
Which it always will.
Which it
Okay,
all-
so I guess we're gonna sit down and pontificate about option shit or option fuck for 6 hours, lose time on finding this thing, get lost in the mines, and way behind when we
It's
could
been
just
gone for a week.
in
I
the
think,
mines.
honestly-
you could get further into it in 6 hours than you could in a day.
How far away is the mine from here?
There are several entrances. where your house is specifically is one of the abandoned mines. Sorry, I'm asking. I thought you were asking me.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I was.
Six.
God, how far is the mine?
How far is the mines?
My lady.
6, you're
Let me
pretty
pray real
familiar with the
quick.
mines because your home is located in one of the old abandoned mines. But there are several
Right.
entrances. Soren was not specific as to whether or not it was in an abandoned mine or a working mine. Wasn't specific. But you do know that there are places down further deep into the tunnels in that area where you live.
And when he did say the mine, he said the mine. So it sounded like it was
he-
supposed to be like a specific one.
He just said the mines, but from what you know,
The mines. With
the
an S.
mines. So yeah, with an S. So from what
Yeah.
you know, where they're actively digging and mining roserite, it all sort of interconnects, but there's sections that sort of get blocked off as they're pillaged for all their ore and material.
Okay.
But you
Cool,
can
cool.
get down into either one of them through those locations. And give me a history check, actually.
Yeah. That is a nasty little 20.
Oh my.
Oh, well, we love a dirty little 20, a little naughty 20. You're pretty sure that you know of a way to get down into the old abandoned mines from the location near your house.
Okay. And my place is probably around like 20, 30 minutes away of a walk.
Yeah, it's about closer to 45. It's
45,
a
that's
place. It's like under the first level of the city in an area that people don't like go to. Think homeless commune.
Oh yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I was thinking. Shantytown.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Got it. Well, we could always walk and talk. It's about 45 minutes away from the entrance that I have near my
Brilliant.
home. I think 45
We
minutes.
leaving
should be
tonight
good.
or we leaving tomorrow?
I don't mind
I
moving
don't
by
see why we
night.
should wait.
I just wanted to see a Afyra's reaction. Well, let's go.
Hmm.
Great, so we're leaving.
Yeah, let me grab a couple things. And so, we'll grab a couple things on the way out. Yeah, DM, would I have any? I think that I recall there was like a shotgun that's up and over the bar in this.
There is, but that is specifically the bartender's shotgun. So you'd have to go ask to borrow it.
I've got one of my own. I just was.
Okay.
If there's anything fancy.
Nah, that's specifically her shotgun for like, people are being rowdy, get the fuck out of my bar.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. As you're going to collect your things, though, one of your jewels sort of like pokes her head in,
Mhm.
and you recognize this to be Emerald specifically. And she just sort of peeks her head in. Miss Delilah, it sounds like you're fixing to go. Do you want me to keep things in lock while you're gone?
Yes, between you and Amethyst, I think you've got it on here. Shouldn't take me terribly long, and I'll see if I can. If it is going to take me longer, I'll see if I can send someone to send you a message.
So just to be fully transparent, are we talking it shouldn't take me longer, so don't be worried if it's 2 or 3 days, or it shouldn't take me longer and you'll be back tonight?
Somewhere in between.
Understood. I'll let
Right.
Amethyst know, and she'll duck back out of the room.
That's a good question. How big is a fucking mines?
I can only
Could it be a
imagine
couple
that
days?
it's
Bring ration?
massive.
It could be a couple days for sure.
I think Clay will stop by Delilah's room. And we'll
Mhm.
knock.
Yeah.
Hello? Hey,
Hello.
do we have a wagon or a cart in case we need to bring supplies?
I mean, I know people with wagons and carts. I mean, we're kind of an in-house situation. We don't really
Right.
do house calls
Well, I
necessarily.
can get us one horse.
Oh, the
Yeah.
yeah.
Kev.
Kev.
No, Toby.
Toby.
Yeah.
Toby Kev. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was
The
his
nickname for the nickname.
It
Gotcha.
didn't work out. It was a whole thing, but
I get you. I hear all sorts of names come through here.
right.
So, I mean, we could certainly ask someone.
Right.
Otherwise, I mean, I don't know.
Afyra pokes her head around the corner. Y'all need me to steal a wagon?
Y'all need Afyra to
If
steal
you
a
wouldn't
wagon?
mind,
I feel
wagon
like
and a horse.
I probably have a wagon at my workshop, I would imagine. I mean, I'm.
Oh yeah, there'd be wagons all sorts down there, right?
Want me to
I'm
steal a
gonna
horse?
be
So.
so for real. You do not have a full wagon in your workshop in a tunnel underground.
It's like a
Sorry,
wheelbarrow.
Voice of God coming. You probably have a wheelbarrow or maybe a miner's cart at best, but you do not have a full-fledged wagon in your busted-up homeless shanty house workshop.
I can steal
Fair
one.
point.
All
No
right.
problem. Don't worry about it.
Well, I guess if you wouldn't mind stealing it, and then we'll meet at Six's place.
Sure.
Oh, so
Alright.
we're gonna take a horse into the mine. Oh, well, it's your horse. Okay. I mean, wouldn't the mine carts in and of themselves? And couldn't we just say, hey, maybe let's not haul Romeo back to the jewelry box? Maybe we could send a message and say, hey, here's a little spot in the mines that we found, or here's a little other spot way out of town.
Works
And
for
just-
me.
Renegotiate the rendezvous point.
Yeah, we also got to figure out how, in case we have to, like shackle
Also-
them. Or,
Yeah. What if it's
I
one of the big
have
ones?
that covered. I have that covered.
What if it's one of the
Alright.
big ones, like one of the golems out
So
there?
you just came prepared for kidnapping.
I am a bounty hunter.
Okay.
Always.
Yeah.
And
You just had the rope ready. He said, "Oh, don't worry."
and our camera will pull back from this moment as you guys make your plans and where you're going to reconvene for the evening. And that is where we're going to go ahead and take our break. Go ahead, stretch your legs, take a little bio. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
I'm stealing a horse.
Yay! as we pick back up, you guys have spent your time prepping and preparing to meet at Six's house. After, I believe, Afyra said that they were going to steal a miner's cart? Or a
I'm
full
gonna steal a wagon and a horse.
It's unclear.
Yeah. I will tell you above table, it's really narrow down in the mines. Mechanically, you are not going to be able to get a horse and wagon down there.
That will be
Okay.
fine. That'll be totally
That's
fine. What about a phantom steed?
The steed will fit. Maybe.
Nice.
Maybe.
Hell yeah.
But we can't put anything on the
He's
steed like a wagon or cart.
No,
we
you
could put a
cannot.
tied up body on the back of a steed.
That's all we really need.
It's valid.
Okay.
So
This is the
knowing that-
conversation we're having on our way to the
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah. Knowing that, do you still attempt to steal a wagon that would not be beneficial to you?
No,
Absolutely. Let's just do it for the shits and giggles.
absolutely not.
Like, let me press a
I'll
hole
pull
in
out
your
a
Not
gun.
if we
wagon.
don't need it.
I pull
All
out-
right, when we get down to the shanty town down there's this motherfucking racist piece of shit. Let's just steal his wagon and then throw it in the mines as a fucking prank.
Good
We'll just leave it
God.
down
Yeah, we
there.
frame him. We frame him for kidnapping the
We
Six.
frame him for stealing the
See,
horse.
this is why we have you. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
As we enter the place that people refer to as pollen waste, that's what we'll go with, this little community that's been built up in one of the old abandoned mines. Have any of you been down to this area before, or has it just been Six?
I visit Six on an irregular basis.
So it's not unfamiliar for Afyra to see all sorts of species, furbolgs, tieflings, elves, with the hints of like glowing pink eyes, just a soft pink glow that just sort of resists, that sort of exudes itself over this place. There's a level of just sad that sort of hangs here that is juxtaposed with the giggling and laughter of children playing hopscotch in what would be a street, but it's the tunnel of a mine, of an old abandoned mine with like boarded up houses and things that have been built into the walls. And this would be the first time that I'm assuming Delilah and Clay have seen this level of probably squalor.
Well, it's not much, but it's home. At least that's what everybody else says.
Well, this is close to how my hometown ended up looking by the time it was stripped of all its resources.
And I guess you'll feel right at home here.
I think Delilah doesn't say very much, but she knows kind of the background of some of her girls and cannot help but look around at some of the young women, some of the young men, and everyone who are around here. Just, you know, it's just thinking. She's kind of pensive as this is going on. And they're walking through.
As you're sort of walking through, Six, you clock a small tiefling boy who you've interacted with a few times before. Blue skin, sort of messy hair, twisted, curved ram's horns, and he just sort of does a barrel roll out in front of you and holds up his hands in like a finger pistol and goes, "Drop him!"
All right, you got me. Here, I'll just turn around, and then as I'm turning around, just arm cannon comes out. Ah!
And he pretends like you've like clipped him at his feet and like falls down. Just goes, "No, Mr. Six, I have been slain. Oh no!" And you recognize this
Yep.
to be Boone, a kid who is fascinated by you and all of your robotics, and like the mechanical nature of you. And he's sort of like tried to sneak his way into your shop on several occasions, but just hasn't really like. It's one of those like, "Hey, don't go away" kind of vibes, but humoring.
I think Six would welcome somebody that wants to learn how to do the things that he does. So if this kid has that curiosity, he would be
Yeah.
absolutely open to
Heck
it.
yeah.
So then he, of course, he'll open up his trench coat and bring out Pliers so that Pliers can also say hi.
He'll immediately run up to Pliers and like pat Pliers on the head, and then very quickly reach his hand into his pocket and pull out a small like switchblade, but he's like modified it and added like extra gears and whistles and things. He's like, look, if I push this button, it's like double action loaded, and then it flings out a blade on either side, and then he'll like twist it in his fingers. And then catch it and it closes back up again. It's like I checked the springs like you told me.
Very good. Good job. You're doing great. A
Yeah.
lot better than you are learning quick.
I
Great
have a
job.
good teacher.
Please. That's all up here. That's you.
Anyway,
I can just provide information, but it's up to you to learn how to do it and actually do it. So you're doing great.
it's about this time that he sort of peers around you at the very tall, fancily dressed Furbolg woman, the spooky looking man, and the lady with the Rorschach mask, and then like leans back in front of you and just goes, "Who are your friends? They seem a little
Yeah.
scary. Not her. She seems nice.
Well-
She's very pretty."
Yeah. She's very nice. Yeah. And then Delilah's nice as well. But I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh,
this is-
you.
This is Delilah right here. This is Afyra. This is Clay. We used to be part of a traveling troupe together.
You were an I thought you were just making all that up.
No.
You actually used to
Some
go,
of it I
like,
kind of made up.
Well, hi, I'm Boone. I live down here in Pollen Waste with Mr. Six. You walked past your house. Did you forget where it was again?
No, we're actually gonna be shit, why would I lie? We're gonna be going down into the mines.
You're going down into the no-no tunnels?
There we are.
Mama says not to go down in the no-no tunnels. She said there's like loud noises and creepy people and things and like wastrels. That's the word she keeps saying, I think.
And she's absolutely right.
But you're going into
You
the
know
no-no
us.
tunnels.
Yeah. You know, rules don't apply to us.
What are you doing down there?
That is highly classified.
That's so cool! I
But-
won't tell anybody.
Promise me. Thank you. Promise me you won't follow me either.
He holds out a pinky to you, and the other hand immediately slides behind his back.
I see that. Hands in the air, partner.
He pulls the other hand
Hands
out.
in the air. Yeah. Untwist
Uh,
those fingers, then we have a promise.
And he'll
There
wrap
we
his
go.
pinky around yours. Give me a perception check.
Absolutely. Oh, that's a good roll. That's a 20.
He's absolutely crossed his leg with his tail.
I see that.
Uh,
I'm just gonna
listen-
take it that this is a promise that you're not gonna follow. I'll be watching too. And don't make me tell your mother.
And listen, kid, Val here, and the owl will fly down onto his finger. His head twists all the way around. He's watching you.
That owl has a cowboy hat.
That he does.
I know, isn't
And
it
then
the
we both-
cutest?
We both tip our hat at the same time.
That's so cool.
It took me a year to teach him that.
You're super cool, Mr. What did you say your name was again?
Oh. I don't really have a name to give out, but if you ever hear any whistling, then you know I'm nearby. And the owl flies up and flutters around on my shoulder.
That's cryptic as fuck, mister. Oops, sorry, I shouldn't cuss. Fuck. Mom's gonna be mad.
It's fine. It's fine.
Anyway,
Listen, you're gonna grow up. You're gonna say those kind of words anyways. It's as long as it's in a safe environment. All good. Just don't go
Hey.
around to strangers and tell them, hey, fuck you, Don't do
Okay. Okay. I'll just make sure I let my mom know that you said it's okay. And he takes off
that. That's
running
not what I said.
down the street. And as he
All right.
runs off, you just hear him screaming, "Hey, mama! Mr. Six said I could say fuck you!"
Yeah, all right. Let's get the fuck out of here before that comes back and bites me in the ass.
You're good with kids, Six.
I'm good with that kid. That kid's he's a bright one.
I'd wager that you'd fare just fine with some dumb ones, too.
Lord help me. Anyways, the entrance is right over here. Probably get going before Boone sees us.
As you guys head towards this like old beat up kind of door, it looks like there's a rusted lock that's been rusted for so long that it's almost shattered off of the handle of it. Yes, Afyra?
I'm a rogue. Did you say lock? Yes.
Yeah. It looks like it's on the cusp of rusting free, but there's a lock on this door.
Damn
Six,
it.
you don't remember being there before, the last time you came down this way.
When was the last time I did come down this way?
I would say probably about a year ago. You probably were playing with Boone down this area.
Okay, cool. I wouldn't think too much of it, especially since it's all rusted.
You can give me sleight of hand. Go for it. Use your little. Do your
it.
rogue shit. Do your rogue shit.
Okay, don't mind if I do. This is so fun. I never get to open locks as a rogue.
Let's go.
That is 29.
Good God. It almost takes little effort as like, without even looking really at it, you just sort of insert the pick and twist it, and then pulling it out, you just see the inside's gone all rusty, and you're able to pull it, and it just comes right free. And the door almost comedically creaks as you pull it open.
As it does, I'm gonna let everyone ahead of me. I only got one. I'm going to lock it behind us as well. That way that kid cannot follow us, and I still have the key to get back out.
Yeah. The rest of you sort of head down into this very narrow, it's not really stairs as much as it's like dirt, like humps kind of vibes going down, and the air is thick and wet, and you can almost taste like blood on the air and feel like this sort of pressing in pressure of what most of you living in the city would know to be raw, unrefined, exposed roserite exposure that just still kind of lingers in the walls. It just sort of presses it on your head a little bit in a way that's a little uncomfortable. But it's also deeply silent. And it almost feels like the silence is listening as you guys are walking through this space. It's dark, and there's cobwebs that you're sort of passing as you go through.
I'm gonna go over to one of the walls and just kind of run my finger through one of the veins, see if there's any like remnant rose rat there.
Give me an investigation check.
Oh, 26.
Ooh. There's a few like crumbs, almost pebbles, but it's very unrefined. It's very clear that this was mined fully of all of its roserite, and just sort of the last little remnants occasionally you might find in the walls as you go through, but not much. It wouldn't be a sustainable amount.
Can I tell with that how long it's been since it was mined?
Decades.
Decades. I can change in a few decades.
Is that good or bad for us?
I would say it's bad for us if nobody's coming down here regularly. That's where, when there's a vacuum, someone will find a way to fill it. So, keep your eye out.
Can any of you see in the dark, or is anyone providing light of some kind?
I have dark vision.
I have a lot of dark vision.
Oh, you could give us dark vision too, huh?
I sure can, but just for a little bit. So that's why I'm seeing who's got dark vision first.
I've got dark vision.
I don't think I do.
On it.
I can't see fucking shit.
Can't you infuse your eyeballs or
Fucking
something?
shit.
Oh
Damn.
no.
So we're going to the part that has a little bit of light in it. Shit. Hold on, don't worry. I think I brought my torch. Hold on.
Check it.
If only I could magically see in the darkness.
Man, that would be great.
No, that's my
we
water
could.
skin.
We would have to take a lot of breaks.
Tinderbox. What?
And become I've got a candle for anyone who wants
It's all right. I found a torch. We're
it.
fine.
Okay.
I will remind you of the fact that you guys each do have a little bit of roserite on you, and you can use roserite to do extraordinary things or amplify things. That is a thing that you can do.
Oh, so we can use that to amplify. So would I be able to use Eyes of Night and amplify it for an extended amount of time?
Yeah, but you would take a point of corruption doing so. That's a caveat.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw, indeed.
And what does Eyes of Night do specifically?
So it is you have dark vision. I have dark vision at a range of 300 feet. As an action, I can share this dark vision with up to 4 willing creatures that I can see within 10 feet, and it lasts for 1 hour. Once you share it, you can do so again. You can't do so again until you finish a long rest, unless you expend a spell slot of expend a spell slot of any level. So, and then I guess I could just use Roserite to continue doing that. So, how long would you let me extend it for? Curious.
If you're extending it to your 2 compatriots, and you burn the spell slot, I'm gonna be so for real. Either way, you're gonna probably need to use Roserite here, because I don't think you can expend it to more than 1 person, or is it everyone you can see?
You can do 4 people within 10,
cool.
4
Cool,
willing
cool.
creatures within 10 feet of me.
So yeah, you would have to burn the spell slot. If you amplify it with Roserite, I would say per person who does not have dark vision, give me 2 corruption points, and you can have it for 24 hours.
Oh, okay. 2. Let me check that their little document real quick.
I mean, I got a torch. I mean, I could.
I mean, it'll be better and easier for us to be able to see without the light of us being seen if I do
Okay.
this. So, okay.
I just don't want you to. I just want you to take care of yourself. That's all.
What does it look
That's-
like as Delilah amplifies her Eyes of Night with Roserite?
I think that she has in a small pouch at her waist and on her very shiny belt that has like little pockets on it. She dips her hands into it and kind of takes it across her fingers. And normally when she would not do it, or if she would put it on, I think that sometimes she'll put it on with makeup as that goes. But I think that what she does is she kind of takes the roserite and like brushes it across her eyes as if she lines her eyes with it, winging them out, and little speckles of it fall on the dappling on her cheeks. And from there, as her eyes open, it's almost like it flicks out to the others as well, and suddenly 300 feet around us it's a dark vision.
I would
you
say
guys-
that Six's blue eyes just changed to that very dull pink.
And as that dull pink comes to you and you sort of look at Delilah, Same with you, Clay and Afyra. You guys watch as her fingers sort of finish running across her face, and from the eyes specifically, there's a slight hint of like pinkish red veins that start to sort of sprout ever so slightly, and then after a few moments fade ever so slightly.
Just keep in mind that if you keep doing that, some things aren't easily reversible. Right now, you're not too bad, but just don't go too much.
Oh, I know. I've seen some of the worst of it come through. So I'm careful. I make sure my girls are careful, and this one seems worth it to make sure.
Yeah.
All right. I just want us to all be safe and wary and mindful, to really truly keep our eyes open, and we don't know what we're facing purposefully, it seems.
Yeah.
So anything that looks like it could be off, doing that. In fact, and she even looks to Clay, as we get deeper in the moment, anything gets in there, you can sense your kind of magic, I can sense mine. So
Fair enough.
Now that I can see like this a little further out than my regular dark vision would allow, I want to start paying very close attention to the walls, to any tracks that might be up ahead in front of us, ceilings, markings, belongings, anything.
Absolutely. 2 questions. Can I get a marching order? So I know the order that we are all assembled in. It's like, who's leading?
I was in the back when I locked the door behind us, but now that we've got dark vision, I want to go ahead and scout ahead, as that's kind of like my job.
So Afyra,
I could be up with her.
And then is it Delilah and then Clay, or Clay and then Delilah?
I think Clay would be in front of Delilah, and then it would have Val kind of flying in between Afyra scouting and 6.
Honestly, the rest of this campaign is just me trying to convince Val to be part of the crew and kick Clay out. That's all.
Yeah.
For full description, it's about 2.5, 3 maybe people wide down in this tunnel, about 8 feet tall. So for our taller folk, it's probably not the most comfortable you've been. At some point it breaks out and gets a little higher, but it fluctuates between about 8 and 10 feet at the highest.
I think she unpins the feather that she absolutely wore there and pins it to like the little cowl that she's put on for this, just so that doesn't get dirty across the beams above her.
And then Afyra, give me an investigation check as you're going through the tunnels.
Yeehaw, that's what I'm good at. Yay!
Would I be able to assist?
Absolutely.
Hee. Okay, so that means I'm rolling 2. It's a plus 13. So
Good God!
What are you?
A bounty hunter.
I thought my +9 was nice. Never mind.
I know, me too. Yeah.
So
y'all got big pluses.
with a 19 on the die. It's like a 32.
Oh my God. That's pretty
Holy
good,
crap.
I guess.
Okay. Cool.
So
cool.
where's the
That's
monster?
super.
Alright, be
Super
honest.
You guys are hiking for a while, and as you're hiking, it doesn't take you long to start noticing a little bit of a track in this sort of undermine. There's normal human feet print, but then there's also moments where it feels like it's like slashes in the dirt. And then occasionally you'll see like spots of dark black blood on the walls that looks dried. But it's not like it's very disconcerting. It feels like there could be people here, but also not people here, but also could be beasts here. Your senses are sort of thrown all over the place, but you're following this path deeper in the mines, and you guys walk for how long would you walk before you guys would break to take a rest?
Well, we're going into the night, right? So I imagine 3-4 hours.
fine with me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Afyra would be down to switch up sleep schedule because in the mines there's no sunlight hours, so you can kind of start to retrain your body down there.
Yeah.
But I don't think she would push the group past 4 hours deep into the mines.
I mean, Delilah sleeps during the day. She's up late.
Yeah.
So she's pretty good, but whenever the crew feels like they want to take a rest, she's down for it.
It's about 4 hours into the walking, and you're able to follow the path, and at a certain point you realize you've like done a left and then a right and then another right and then a left, and it's just abandoned mines as you're walking through. It's unsettling, and again that like weight sort of presses on you, and you're not finding anything physical, but you are seeing marks that like something was down here recently. And it's striking you in a way that, the further you walk, the more unsettled you're feeling. You can almost feel like your hair sort of standing on edge. And around the maybe 4.5 hour point, there's a moment where you pause. And I need everyone to give me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Oh, no.
I don't think that's one of the ones I'm good at.
Definitely a 10. Nope, 11.
Natural 20.
Nice.
Hey, let's go.
That's for a 28.
Well, at least one of us.
I got a 16.
I got an 11.
Oh, no.
Read it and weep.
Delilah, in the back of the group, you watch as you guys enter like a fork, and there's several different tunnel points, and almost before you even have a chance to speak or say something, you watch each of your compatriots shift down a different tunnel by
You're
themselves. Afyra goes off to one to the left, Clay goes off to one to the right, and Six just keeps walking straight forwards.
Jim, this
Yes,
is
dear.
very important.
Uh-huh.
Val got a 17 on the die.
I
I made it.
Let's go, Bird.
Val's a
Um,
unit. Val was
Oh, I
Yeah.
guess you have to do
We're
that for
keeping Val.
flyers.
Val?
Flyers is even worse.
Val is hovering between Afyra and Six, and the second they split, Val almost turns to look at Clay, and then watches Clay go down another hallway, and then Delilah, you're just faced with an owl wearing a cowboy hat, looking at you, and realizing you're the only one who hasn't moved, and just sort of flaps ever so slightly, and then like hoots at you.
Hey, all y'all, get right back here right now. Get back here right now. She's trying
None
to
of
call them
you-
so that they walk back to where she
None
is.
of you can hear her voice.
Wait, no,
Can I
Think?
Can
You
I
can't
just
hear?
be following the tracks if there are any in the tunnel I've gone down? This is my like favored terrain. So
Yeah.
no matter where my feet are going, I'm trusting them.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna still
I'm-
try and seek out Romeo.
I'm gonna jump to you in a second. I want to see
Oh,
yeah.
what Delilah is attempting to do before her
I would
compatriots
like
get too far.
to. Because if it doesn't, that's a spell that. Okay, I would like to dispel magic.
Ooh. Okay. Which of your friends are you dispelling magic on, or are you going to amplify
What
it
do
to
you
get
mean,
everyone?
which of my friends? I want to
Which of
dispel
your
magic on
friends?
the space.
Who do you love more?
Which of your friends are you going to dispel the magic on? And would you like to use Roserite to amplify it to get everyone? Yes, I
Okay.
can. It's literally my job.
Shit. I think it's gonna have to be Afyra. I think she's closest with Afyra.
Cool. So you're not going to amplify it?
I think because then Afyra can help us track the others.
You
And the
follow...
bird's helping, right?
The bird's with you because the bird, while it succeeded on its save, doesn't know what to do because it's a bird. It's bird.
The one time I don't have speak with animals.
you see Six and Clay walk down these two separate tunnel paths, and you go after Afyra to go and dispel the magic. And you sort of hold out your hand. And what does it look like as you cast Dispel Magic?
I think that from her fingertips, her very pretty painted fingertips, almost like moonlight, it casts itself forward, and like little tendrils of moonlight sort of wisp forward, swirl around Afyra, and it's like the sound of like glass shattering as the spell is dispelled.
Beautiful. We will jump over to Afyra. As you're walking, you feel like you're getting close. And as you're sort of walking down this tunnel, your hands are sort of tracing the veins on the wall and watching the footsteps. And for a split second, you think you see what might be a willowy wisp of like a young woman with ink black hair. And then blinking your eyes, you feel and hear like glass shattering. And your eyes sort of go very wide. And you look around very quickly and realize that you are almost alone in a tunnel, with the exception of the fact that directly behind you, hand extended, is Delilah with a hovering owl over her shoulder.
I don't say anything. I just look over my shoulder really quick to check to make sure that girl with the black hair is not standing directly behind me. And if like it's just nothing but tunnel, I race forward to Delilah and I grab your hand in my hand and I go, shit. And I'm gonna take off running towards the other tunnels.
And she's explaining along the way the other two, the tunnels that they went down. As she kind of, I'm sure that as these tunnels go, she's having to like duck through and move through, trying to hustle through.
We'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. Thank you.
Absolutely. I just knew that if anyone's going to find him, you'd be able to help me. I don't want to keep messing with the stuff down here.
I would like to jump over to Six first. You're walking down this tunnel, and in front of you, you see Afyra sort of directly walking step in step with you. And you can sort of hear Clay and Delilah having some sassy conversation behind you, but you're sort of tuning it out a little bit. What are you talking to Afyra about as you walk through the tunnel looking for this creature?
What kind of creature do you think makes these kind of markings? Seeing footsteps and slash marks. Have you seen anything like this?
Meadow.
Yeah.
I would like you to respond, knowing that in this moment, you are not Afyra.
Yep. This is diabolical, by the way. Afyra goes, well, could be a shifter. Could be some kind of abomination or aberration. I've seen a lot of strange gates come along with them. I don't know. It seems like could be a whole mess of different nonsense. Just got to be ready for when we see it.
Six is going to look over his shoulder to the other two. They're still following?
They're still following, but it almost like sounds a little bit like a tuned out radio in the background. Exactly. It's very Charlie Brown's mom. Where like you're almost tunnel visioning on the sound of Afyra's voice. It's almost got a taste to it. It reminds you of what ingesting pure refined roserite is like as Afyra speaks to you.
So, you were gone for a while. What'd you do out there?
Meadow, can you check your DMs, please?
God damn! I guess. Well, felt like I couldn't keep carrying everybody here in the crew, and You were one of the few who said this should be done, and I know that you felt real bad and tried to let me know that it wasn't about us, but come on, let's be honest. I carry most of the things we do together, and who wants to talk to a robot all the time? Not that crazy, not that depressed. I don't know, man. I just, I kind of realized it was like talking to a wall when I came to see you, so I guess I just stopped coming.
I think Six is quiet for a minute, trying to understand. Because, I mean, obviously, yes, he's under this spell, but this doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Like, Afyra wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
But I think obviously he's under this spell, so he is starting to try and process this as if it is real. And
if you'd like to, I will allow you to make another wisdom saving throw at disadvantage.
okay. Yeah. That's 2.
No!
I'm not even gonna roll the next one.
I want to take a second and jump over to the tunnel that Clay is in.
Perfect. Yep. Yep. Good timing.
Clay, walking down your tunnel, a little bit further ahead of you, you see Afyra and Six, a little almost out of focus, and occasionally, as they're sort of talking and walking ahead, you can see Six sort of looking back at you, but like not speaking to you directly, and you just feel a slight hand on your shoulder, as Delilah sort of walks up alongside you. Mare, I'm gonna need you to check your DMs in a second. But
Take it from me. Do not look at the DMs.
I would like to pass.
Yeah.
It's worked for Atheum, right?
no, it does not work for Atheum.
Pass? Okay.
Also,
okay.
keeping in mind as you're responding that this is not actually Delilah.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, oh no, sorry, you go first.
No, it's nothing. Just, I don't know. Kind of feels like old times again, doesn't it?
Hey, the last time we were together in a dark room was the night before the train heist.
A little bit
Yeah.
before that, and all those nights out there under the stars,
Yeah.
nothing but the winds and the desert. This,
Listen, I couldn't help but notice in the fuck you butt game that I didn't get a particular fuck for my behavior.
I mean, I'll notice as well that I didn't get one either.
Well, I have nothing but compliments towards you, but I do have apologies to make. I'm quick to push people away,
Oh, that doesn't have to happen after all this. And she kind of takes her hand and makes the little finger walking motion up his shoulder.
Well, what sort of gentleman would say no to treating a lady to a lovely evening?
I mean, if this doesn't work out, then I don't have the jewelry box. We could make anything happen from there.
Yeah, but
I think you and I make a real good team. We always have. The other two they're fun to have around from time to time, a little annoying at times, but you and I have always had that connection. Don't you agree?
Yeah, but you know why I can't.
I can't doesn't work for me. I usually always get a yes in the end.
Clay, can I have a wisdom saving throw at disadvantage?
Yeah, that's definitely a disadvantage.
GM, does a whopping 11 yet again free me from these clutches?
It does not. And I would like to take advantage of this moment to jump back to our ladies. Who do you go after first?
I'm going for 6, and I think that's clear and known.
I apologize. That was a 1,
Oh my god!
not a 7.
Definitely
You
not.
rolled 2 and 1. That's fucking amazing.
I am
Incredible.
putting my arm around a stalagmite. I mean, if you wanted to sneak away,
Man, there's a lot of dark crevices in here.
enchanté.
I think that Delilah in the tunnel with Afyra is 6. Clay can handle himself, and he's
course
been on
he
his own
can.
for a bit. 6. This is the tunnel that he was. This is the one that I think he went down.
Give me.
Do you want to split up?
No.
6 it is.
Okay, so I'm gonna need 2 checks from you. I'm gonna need a history check on your own to see if you can remember which tunnel 6 went down. And then Afyra, an investigation check to see if you can find 6, depending on whether or not it's 2 separate rolls. Did you think I was gonna come to play fair? Did you think I was playing fair?
I was gonna have a moment where I was gonna scratch arrows in the ground before I went after Afyra, but I freaked out. Okay.
Coulda, shoulda, wouldas. Coulda, shoulda,
I had a
wouldas.
thought, and then I didn't think it.
Yeah.
That's a 2, my lord.
Noted.
I got a 23 to find 6.
Noted. We will come back to you in just a moment. 6, in your hallway as you're walking, you almost found yourself stopped as the words, the harshness that Afyra was speaking with you just feels foreign, but also there's a part of you that almost believes it. That it almost feels correct. And there's a long pause, and Afyra sort of turns to look at you and pulls that Rorschach mask down. And there's a long pause before she looks at you. The worst thing that ever happened in my life was meeting you. And she starts walking down the hall.
I think at that 6 doesn't go forward.
Clay, in your hall, Delilah's fingers just running up the side of your back. And then there's, with a forwardness that you're not expecting, she just sort of pins you against a wall and leans herself into your shoulder.
Oh, right here, right now. Okay.
And it is at that moment that Afyra and Delilah, you find Clay in his tunnel, sort of slumped against a wall, his
Shirtless.
eyes fully whited over a deep crimson pink, with veins sort of bleeding from them. Just sort of like sitting against the floor of this cavern, leaned against a wall. I guess shirtless if he wants to be.
Just like
I
it was
mean-
ripped open, but it was him that ripped it open, but he doesn't know. Oh my goodness!
He's like touching himself. He's like, yeah.
Do this. Whitney, I'm so sorry I quit. I'm so sorry I quit. Oh, that's so funny. I
my
think
God.
Afyra skids to a stop as she sees that and goes, fuck, and just like turns around and runs the other way. Like she's looking for 6.
Oh man.
Oh no, he's in shape.
Oh no.
Delilah, do you follow Afyra, or do you try to do something to knock
Oh,
Clay?
while we're here, she is stunned and whatnot there. She's going to She's gonna cast protection from good and evil on him, just because that would. He's clearly under something else. Yeah. So I'm gonna try casting protection against good and evil to see if that works. Is protected against creatures that are aberrations, celestials, elemental, fae, fiend, or undead. In case that works.
You tap into this familiar magic that you're used to using and sort of fling it out at your fingertips, and you watch this sort of settles on Clay, but there is no restention of that color in his eyes.
Well, okay. She's gonna drop concentration on that one. Dang, my spell slots, y'all. And we're gonna dispel magic again.
Clay, in the heat of the moment of your dreams, and we'll leave it at that, there is a moment where you can feel almost like a glass breaking across your eyes. And Delilah, you watch as his eyes go back to their normal color, those veins rescinding, and you see Delilah not embracing you, not caressing you, but standing in front of you, her hand outstretched.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I was doing pretty good, but now I'm not.
No, there's
feel like I'm
something.
about to throw up.
Yeah,
What the hell happened?
something took possession of you. Some magic took hold, and it's got 6 as well. And
You know where
and
he
she
is?
looks back that way. Afyra went running after him, and it got her too.
Clay casts detect magic, and will just kind of use that to try to find the residuals of the enchantment magic that was on him, to try to follow that through the halls.
As you cast detect magic in this place that used to be a roserite mine, it's almost like being on stage and every light in the theater has been turned on you at once. It is blinding, deafening. Every ounce of this area just crackles and responds with magical energy, pressing in on you to the extent that like you can almost feel your brain starting to like reverberate with how magical the entire area is. It's overwhelming.
Before I turn it off, can I try to make an Arcana check to focus as much as I can before ending it?
I'm gonna say yes, but you're gonna have to do it at disadvantage.
Don't worry, we've been doing perfectly fine with that. Nat 20
Oh, thank God.
and an 8. So the 8 also gets a +9, so that becomes a 17.
Okay. I'm gonna cry.
It's really difficult. It's like trying to, you know, when you drive at night and people have those really obnoxious like high beam lights.
LED lights.
Yeah,
Good
and you're
analogy.
trying to see the car in front of you, but it's so hard because the oncoming traffic is just blinding you. But squinting, trying to look inwards, there's a brief second where you can see a trail sort of heading down this tunnel that you happen to be going down further, and you can't really see where it goes or lands or leads, but you know that the tunnel that you're in currently is the correct path to lead you to the residual traces of this magic.
Okay.
And I want
let's
to
try.
pull away from this moment and check back in with Afyra. Give me investigation at disadvantage because you do not know which tunnel he went down. You're just using your raw talents to try and find your friend.
I got double 16s.
That's buck wild.
Which I've never rolled 2 of the same number at the same time. Plus
go.
13, so 29. Give me my friend.
You go running back and hook left down another tunnel and are running for a while until you start to see familiar footprints in the little bit of a mud. And you almost run into Six, who you see collapsed on their knees. Their eyes completely, almost like a cherry blood red. And it looks like there's like cracking starting to happen on the face of red roserite veins.
I think if I can alter this a little.
Yeah.
I think what you see is Six is just standing there, and as you're running up, you're catching like the echoes of something that he's saying. As you get closer and closer, it gets louder and louder. As he just looks into a space, and he grabs onto his bag of roserite, and he says, "You know, there was a time I would have given my last bit of roserite just to see you smile, just to make you feel like you were wanted, like you were healed from all the wrong that was done to you, and I see that was just a chore for you. I was just something for you to check a box for. So, I guess we'll just get this job done and you'll never have to see me again."
And that is what Afyra hears as she runs up.
I think Afyra is so worried for him that she doesn't put together that whoever he's talking to is supposed to be her. So she literally skids like on her knees to like round the section, and she's like grabbing at him. She rips off her Rorschach mask and is like, hey, look at me. It's not real. Whatever you're thinking, that's not real. Come on, look at me. Hey, please. Oh my God.
I have
Swear to
two
God,
important
Six.
questions.
No,
Do you
please
have-
don't do this to me.
Do you have a way of breaking him out of this? I'm open to being pitched something creative. That's question 1. We'll get to question 2 in a moment.
Honestly, the only thing I could possibly think that might work is singing an old campfire song of our outlaw days. Is a song that I know that he favored, and trying to see if that works.
Awesome. Also, could you please make a melee attack roll for me, please?
Oh, what? Can I be unarmed? He's not gonna survive if I do it with. Can I please be unarmed?
I'll go kill him.
I specified melee attack roll.
Unarmed strike it is.
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay.
Oh
no!
no!
Oh no! I'm so good.
I'm so good.
No. Does like a 21 hit ya, buddy?
Do I know it's coming?
6. To narrate what is happening in this moment, Afyra, you hear those last words that 6 is saying, and you sort of like skid slide and whip yourself in front of him, grabbing him, trying to stop him. 6, in your mind, you finish saying that to this Afyra in front of you, whose eyes, as you're looking at her, are sort of wide and almost pink-hued. Not in a way that's alarming to you, because you know Delilah cast that spell, so clearly that's why her eyes are a little pink. And she comes up and cold clocks you in the face.
I will cast shield.
Thank God.
So that does not hit me.
Thank God.
But immediately after that happens, I will cast inflict wounds.
Make an attack roll for me.
Oh no!
I would love to. Actually, I would hate to, but
No, let's
playing in
fucking
Make-Believe
go.
land.
Let's fucking go.
That is
Alright.
a 16 on the die, which brings that to a 27.
Absolutely hits me. That hits me,
PvP
best
on
friend.
the
That
first
hits me hard.
episode.
Can you roll damage?
We were joking.
Will. Okay, not too bad, but that is 13 necrotic damage.
Okay, hell yeah. Respect.
Afyra,
Yo.
you go up and you grab 6,
Yeah.
and you're holding him, holding the side. How are you holding him in this moment?
I started by grabbing at his shoulders, and very quickly saw that like bag of rose right in his hands and that really pink hue in his eyes. And so I went to grab his face. I'm just holding
As
his
you
face.
went to grab his face, he pushes it away and grabs onto your neck and casts inflict wounds directly into you.
You feel almost like the cold metal of his hand sort of piercing your throat ever so slightly, and then feel that necrotic energy pulse through you. What do you do?
I think also, as he's doing this, he just looks at you and says, "It didn't have to be like this."
I think that Afyra's hand flexes at her hip because she could very easily reach for a way to break his hold on her. But I think it was too easy for her to deflect blame when he called her out earlier in the fuck you butt. And I think she lets him hold her by the throat. There is a single tear that slips down over her cheek. And I think she's just going to start to sing that old song as much as she can through the pain in her throat.
Give
And
me a
she's not going to hurt him.
Performance check.
God, this fucking hurts. And I love it. I love the hurt.
Okay, so what is my performance? Where am I? What game is this? Okay.
I hurt myself today playing D&D.
Legitimately crying is wild. That's a 16 total.
6. Give me a wisdom saving throw at advantage.
Okay. Well, that is a 6 on the die. And that is a 2 on the die. So does a 7 pass?
It does not.
Great.
You grasp Afyra at her throat, and you can almost feel in your ribs a pistol pressed against your stomach, near where your core you would know to be.
If I may, I feel like I do hear this song coming through too, as if it's like some sort of sick lullaby that Afyra is trying to put on Six, as if like mocking him. This feels almost like she's saying that, yeah, even back then, it wasn't real. And just trying to twist that dagger that's already in his heart. And so when that happens, he's going to take her and just throw her into the wall. And just say, "Don't you fucking do this to me."
Give me a dexterity saving throw, Afyra.
Oh boy. Here I go. I'm so lucky. My favorite game. That's pretty good. What do I add to it? That's a +9. That's a dirty 20.
In the adjoining hallway, Delilah and Clay, you guys hear a loud crack and raised voices coming from the next hall over. And Afyra, you sort of hit the wall, but are able to right yourself and sort of steady your feet in front of Six.
I look up at Six a little confused. But there's no way I could blame Six when I can see that their eyes are bright pink with the thing that they need.
You can
And
see
I don't
those
think
cracks starting to deepen too. They're
God.
growing on his face.
I need to break concentration here somehow, and talking has not worked yet. But if I do anything, if I touch a weapon, Six won't make it. So
while you're pondering that, Clay and Delilah, what are you doing?
Clay, I think this is really the first time, he's gonna fully activate his blade song. So you just hear, I think it's called "Twisting Nerve" from Kill Bill. You know, just going down the hallway, and then so as a bonus action, he'll activate that. So all of a sudden, like it's just kind of like vibrating like the Flash, and it's just moving even quicker down the hall. And I think he doesn't have anything to really dispel it, so I think he's going to enter the fray and just try to give him a good old bonk on the noggin to snap him out.
Hold that thought. Delilah, what are you doing? Are you following Clay to that adjoining tunnel?
Yeah, she is moving through quickly, trying to get there.
So the two of you can sort of see Six in front of you. Afyra sort of against the wall, but on her feet. And Clay, if you want to give him a bonk, give me an attack roll.
I'm gonna give him a bonk with shocking grasp.
Ooh.
Which you have advantage on because I'm fucking metal.
I'm just gonna aim it right at his head and go, "Come on, dumbass!" Oh shit!
No way!
Someone get me from this.
You're not gonna believe it, gang. My first true nat 20 all session.
Oh my god.
So
Silvery barbs.
Okay.
I'm gonna need you to roll that again. Who are you giving the advantage to, Afyra?
Me.
okay, well that's still 25. So I'm gonna go ahead.
As long as it's not a crit. As long as it's not a
damage, I
crit.
can't.
You gotta wake him up. What do you want from me?
Does a 25 hit you?
Yes, it does. Yeah, even with
go
the
ahead.
shield on.
Go ahead and do damage.
Come on, wake up. That's gonna be 9 points of damage.
You can give me another wisdom saving throw with that pierce of electrical shocks vibrating through you.
I think
Regular.
if I may to like flavor the silvery barbs, I think you went to like slap your hand on his forehead and I caught your wrist just enough for you to not actually fully connect. So I'm just like holding your wrist back from actually hitting the metal of his skin.
I'm rolling really good everywhere else except for this fucking wisdom save. That's a fucking 5.
Yikes.
Wait, couldn't
Go
have you
ahead.
given it the advantage to 6?
Oh, can I
if you-
retroactively give it to him?
Yeah.
I'll allow it.
Take it.
Yeah.
I don't need it.
Please, baby.
If this works.
Come on, Nat 20.
Oh my god, it was a 2, which is literally right next to the 20. It was on the 20 and then tick, right down to the 2. So, does a 5 pass?
No, it doesn't.
Great.
You, from behind you, you feel this bolt of electrical energy shock through you. And looking over your shoulder, you see Clay staring at you with their fingers outstretched, clearly attacking you, and Delilah in the distance holding out. What sort of weapon does Delilah use?
So I have for her a Morning Star. That was the one that I picked, but I like to think that it's one of those, it's like a really fancy baton type of thing that
Yeah.
she straps to her extremely long legs. So it would be like the length of her thigh.
Yeah.
And yeah, so she would have that visually.
So you see Delilah unstrapping her weapon from her side, and then you hear Afyra's voice in front of you. Just look at you and just go, I always knew we were going to have to take care of you. It's always been a problem to be solved.
Well, all right.
I want to try to
If I
put
was
manacles
6,
on him.
if I was 6, this is what I would do.
Yeah.
I am going to cast haste on myself,
Yeah.
and I then get a second action in which I would. don't think I could cast another spell, but I will, or I guess I could cast a cantrip. So I will look over towards where Clay is, and I will say, "This doesn't fucking concern you," and I'm gonna shoot a firebolt directly into him.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead and make the attack roll.
I just want to make sure that my feat that I have sharpshooter, but I don't. Oh no, spell sniper.
I also
Range,
have spell
ignores half
sniper,
cover.
bestie.
Oh my gosh, Twinsy.
I don't have.
So this will be with disadvantage because I'm shooting at you.
Yeah.
When you were right next to me. Yeah. All right, cool. So, does a 19 hit?
No.
Okay, cool. So then I will shoot out, and that firebolt goes barreling down the mine, and then after that, I click a button on my chest that opens up the like peck, little piece of metal, and out comes this eldritch cannon that pops up onto his shoulder, and then is going to then shoot a force ballista directly at you as well.
Okay.
Clay, do you say
Sorry,
anything as
y'all.
you watch this cannon come up on Six's
No,
shoulder?
Clay. This is one of those moments where Clay is taking it very seriously, is not being cocky because he knows that this is very serious. So he's just being dead quiet, and it's just around him. The way his blade song works is that you just still hear the light hum of a whistle around him, and whenever a projectile any towards of attack comes towards him, it just dissipates from the vibration, as if the molecules in the air itself are vibrating so rapidly that anything that tries to come near him just spreads apart.
Afyra, you can hear that cannon clicking into place, and you know what that means. Is there anything you'd like to do in this moment?
I could certainly die. That's an option. I think, honestly and truthfully, all that she knows is restraining threats.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what Six is hearing, so this is gonna seem counterintuitive, but she would try to put manacles on him.
Yeah. I would say go ahead and give me. What would this be?
A sleight of hand check, maybe?
Yeah, that's what I'm leaning towards. I would say sleight of hand.
Can Val
I
give
think
the
it's-
help action?
No.
Okay.
I think this is so fitting that the robot that actually runs on refined roserite, now getting this taste of the unrefined stuff going through the mine and still having an effect from it. I think it's so fucking fitting.
What you got? What you got, Afyra?
Oh no.
I got an ad 20. That's a 29.
Hey, let's go!
The manacles lock themselves into place. And lastly, Delilah, is there anything you'd like to do in this moment?
She is coming right forward and is going to dispel magic once again.
Hell yeah, let's go.
So she comes forward as watching Six being restrained, watching the attacks at Clay, just seeing the chaos there. She's double-handing this and just kind of gets really in close on Six's face to make sure that this like shatters whatever this is doing to her, to
I
everyone
think you
here.
also see like the cannon that's directly in front of Afyra as you're manacling his arms together. You could see that it's starting to charge up and it's about to shoot.
I think she's looking dead at it, but her hands
Yeah.
are going.
Yeah. Looking at the fucking end of a barrel.
To paint a picture, Afyra, your hands are on Six's wrists, clasping those manacles into place. Looking up at her shoulder, you can see that pulsing cannon directly in your face. Clay, You're just sort of just behind Afyra's shoulder, still reeling from just having missed that shot. Delilah, your hand outstretched, the magic traveling out of your fingers until it impacts directly in Six's face. And slowly you watch as those veins recede and that eye fades back to a normal color. And Six, you see your friends all in front of you.
I think right as it's starting to switch, Six looks over to Clay and back to Afyra and just says, "Yeah, it figures you would use him against me." And then that's when he finally comes back and says,
The reality settles back in on you.
"So
And
do I still think that this is real? Like Afyra said these things to me? Or is that like, oh shit, this was all a part of my imagination?"
that's the moment where you realize that all of this has been your brain effectively playing tricks on you. And you just sort of come to in this moment. And before you have a chance to speak, our camera sort of pulls all the way back out from this moment and dives deeper into the vines. We are in a giant cavern of almost pure roserite crystal. And we see what looks like a young woman, but it's hard to gauge her age. Tall. Some might call her slender or willowy. But her legs and arms almost seem too long. Joints that seem twisted just a hair past human comfort. Her skin is colorless and almost waxy, laced with roserite filaments that stitch themselves across her body almost delicately, but pulsing softly. Her eyes are two blooming shards that are pure roserite, translucent, softly glowing, looking almost like the ore itself had blossomed out of where her eyes should be. And she walks, as she walks, it almost looks like dancing. Weightless, unsettling. Her ink black hair hangs in damp, wet, thin pieces. Her mouth stretches just a little too wide. With teeth that aren't human, they're crystalline. Everything about this person feels like you're watching someone rehearse or practice what a human is supposed to be. And that is where we will leave our first episode. We'll see you next time. Have a good night.